Hello, my crafty friends. It's Sheree from Turquoise Dreaming. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel and welcome to hashtag mobilecrafts. This is an open collab hosted by myself and Susan at Susan Hiles Art. And so this is our monthly collab for October. So yeah, super excited about doing these crafts this month. So what I did this week was, well, I'll show you first what I was inspired by, and then I'll tell you how to join in the collab. So, well, I was inspired by the prompt, which the prompt for this week is masterboards. Make a masterboard, cut up that masterboard, and make things out of it, like tags, journal cards, or whatever you want to make. So that was the prompt I was thinking of in my head. And then last weekend, I had taken some cards out of my card and envelope drawer here in my craft room that I was reorganizing, and you will see that either last week or this Sunday in my reorganization videos. But yeah, I took those cards out, cut them up, and that was the part of what I wanted to use. And then I also wanted to use my Tim Holtz squares here. So I had got a little package of Tim Holtz ephemera, which here is the label from the package, and it is the collage tiles. And there were 72 pieces in here, and I used them all on here, right? And it doesn't look like you wouldn't think this would take 72 pieces, but just to give you an idea of, you know, how many there are here, and then how many pieces it took to put four little pieces on each one. But I love those. I couldn't wait to try those little squares out, and I never bought anything like this, the little squares from Tim Holtz before. And so it was a lot of fun, and you know, Tim Holtz ephemera is really cool, at least I think it is. And this was the Halloween, and so really cool little, some of them are Halloweeny and some of them aren't. Like this one has the skull on it, and it has some people and a little piece. This one says kind of like, this is a little collage piece that Tim Holtz does, and it says like the beginning of poison right there. But I think they're all really cute. I just love how you can just put these random pieces together and they all look really cool. And I did try to put a picture on each one, so I think I almost managed that to make sure with the other pieces I got a picture on each one. And the pictures, all these pieces came in that Tim Holtz ephemera, so really cute. And I just kind of fell in love with those. And see, they're this color on the back. This was the picture or the color of the card I took out, and on the inside it's white, so that can be journaling space, right? So with that in mind, and the prompt in mind, I was kind of thinking, you know, at first I was thinking masterboard, but then I thought, well, these are kind of like a mini masterboard, right? These little cards, the little front piece here, kind of like a mini masterboard, right? So then I made all of these. So keeping in mind, if you remember, I said 72 pieces to make these. So I don't know how many pieces it took to make these, but these are about the same amount, maybe a little bit more. But so all I did was I just did this in the living room this week, each night. I think I only crafted 3 nights in the living room this week. It may have been 4. But I just took my some white cardstock. I took papers that I was going to cut up. I did take I used this little paper cutter here to cut up my cardstock. The night I took that in and I started cutting up cardstock, I used this, and I did have my ruler in there just to measure the 1-inch pieces. To measure these pieces, I just took one of these original pieces that I made and measured that way, as this, using this as my template. You know, I just spread it out on my cardstock and then cut, you know, around. So with my little paper cutter there that I just showed you. So that was, you know, what, 2 or 3 pieces I took in to do that. And then I took my papers in. So I took in scraps. I just did scraps this week. So I took in pieces of scraps, and I used this paper cutter, my big, you know, the Fiskars one that you see in my videos, to cut up my paper scraps. So I just got scraps from my papers and things from my scrap box. and made these. Like, this is a book page. This is a book page that I kept together. I cut it up and I put it back together. And then these are just random scraps. It's kind of cool to just put, not worry about matching colors or anything. Just put random pieces, little squares together, and you get a pretty little card that can be used for whatever you want to use it for. A gift card, you know, to put on a gift and say to from inside or something, write a little note. A thank you card. You could decorate the front further, and you can add little pages if you wanted to make it into a little booklet like we like to do, right? So yeah, I made all of these and I thought they were super cute. So I was just going to show you one here. So, you know, not very many pieces that you can take with you to the living room or on a trip if you're going on vacation, and in your downtime you want to do a little crafting, you know, take, you know, 4 or 5 things and you got yourself a little crafting time on your trip when you're, you know, family sitting around at night at your relative's house or at a hotel. You know, you can get out your little tote bag of craft supplies and have a little crafty fun, right? So what I did was cut up some scrapbook paper. So for the one I want to show you tonight, here's the one I'm going to do. Let's put this all aside. And I pulled out just to cut up, I already cut it up, but I pulled out some, these are just some strips that I have in my, they're beautiful. They're from, I believe they're all from the same paper pad. They're cardstock and they're just pretty papers. They're one-sided cardstock scrapbook paper. So here's my little squares I already cut up. And I figured out, it's kind of, you have to figure it out on your paper cutter, however you want to cut. If you want to do this exact thing, figure out what you want to cut with and figure out how you want to measure your 1.5 inch squares. That's what the Tim Holtz squares were, 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. So I'm going to show you real quick what I did because I had a little bit of a hard time with it, just because I would cut them and I'd be like, that is not right. That is too small, or that is too big. So what I figured out was I took this paper cutter and I took it from the line where it cuts right here, you know, right here is the line where it cuts. And so I put my paper there and I put it over here where I think that 1.5 inches should be. And so I put it there. And then I measured with my ruler like this from the cut line over. And yes, that is 1.5 inches. So that's all I did, you know, just to verify and confirm that I'm trying to cut it right. Okay, so that's 1.5 inches. And then I took it the other way because, you know, once you figure out where your notch is on your, you know, you have little notches here for like a ruler on your paper cutter. At least this one does, the Fiskars. And so once you figure out where that notch is, you can do the same thing over and over again. And you can put, you know, however many papers you think you can cut, 1 or 2 or 3, and get done faster. But that's what I did. I think I did like 2 at a time to make sure I wasn't trying to get through too much and making things off, getting things, you know, not cut right. So there you go. That's how I cut my little squares. So, you know, I'm sure, you know, you can do it however you want to do it. So anyway, since these are from the same paper pad, let's see how they glue down. I think I did one already. I don't know what I did with it though. It's in this pile somewhere. I don't know. It's in that pile somewhere. We're going to do another one. So all I did was just, oh, here it is. I put it over here. Here's one I already did. Isn't it pretty? Just random whatever, you know. So, you know, you have some scrapbook paper you want to use up. Maybe you don't necessarily like it, but if you cut it up and just use the random pieces like this, I think that's a really fun way of using it up, you know what I mean? And then you might even like it better once you cut it up. You might, maybe you don't like it as a 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11 or 6 by 6, whatever it is. But if you cut it up into little squares, you might like it better, right? So yeah, I would try it. I would definitely try it if you have some scrapbook paper that you don't like. Just cut it up and see if you like it better, right? Cut it up into little pieces. I bet you will. So, yeah, I just want to glue these down randomly. And so these pieces, yeah, some of these pieces are off. See? But it's okay because this was when I was like I thought I had my measurement and it wasn't exactly right, so I think I've got it down pat now, but anyway, I'll show you what to do. If you just line up your square, so like I have these two squares, I line them up here at the top, and I have a line right there where they meet. Okay, so I put the other one here on the edge. So this fourth one, let me pick one out. I'm going to put right here and line it up with this line in the middle and this line going across. So as long as your lines meet, you can fix the rest, right? if you happen to cut your squares wrong, like I did on a couple of these. So yeah, you just get your squares, your lines together. So I'm going to show you. Okay, my lines are correct. So yes, let me show you up close. So I've got a line straight down the middle here. See, it's straight down the middle. That's straight, and this is straight. So now I have a little sliver here I need to cut off. Like, I don't have to, but if I wanted to look like the Tim Holtz ones, I'm going to cut that little sliver off. I'm going to cut that little sliver off. And so you will never know that anything was off, right? So let me just cut that off and show you. Yeah, just a little, it's just a tiny sliver, so you're not really wasting any paper or anything. And you're really not cutting anything off because it's such a small sliver. So, and I think it works out pretty well. So there we go. Isn't that cute? And see, it's all square and all pretty. Isn't it nice? Okay, so that I'm going to add to my pile. And that's what I did for my mobile craft this week. That was a lot of fun. So let me tell you real quick before we go what the prompt is for next week. It is to use your books. So yeah, a lot of times I will, if I have a stack of books and that I'm trying to salvage the pages and maybe the covers are messed up, or maybe I want to use the covers for journals, you know, and do something else with the book pages, or, you know, use some of the book pages in my journal. Anyway, my point is that I take the books, I go ahead and take them into the living room with me and get whatever I need, my X-Acto knife, my staple remover, my scissors, and my books usually is all I need. And I just work on getting those books apart. I mean, some of them are a little hard to get apart. You've got strings and staples to pull out, you know. So, and it does take time. So, you know, that's time that you can use when you're watching TV. Now that one, if you're working on one particular journal, I would take that maybe on your trip and go ahead and take it apart and start working on it, you know. I probably wouldn't take a stack of books with me on a trip, but I would definitely take one or two little books, you know, if you wanted to take those apart. But the point is, while you're watching TV, it's a great craft to take books apart and then do something with the pages or the cover or whatever. So that's next week's prompt. So let's see what we do with that. I can't wait to see everyone's ideas. So everyone have a great day, great week till I see you again. My next video will be tomorrow. So stop by tomorrow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you then. Happy crafting.